Hi, everyone. Welcome to the Zone to Speak podcast. I'm your host, Juliana. Before the episode, I have got to share one of my absolute favorite ride essentials, the Cyc Plus Smart Pump. This little thing goes everywhere with me. It's compact, powerful, and honestly a game changer on the bike. I love using it mid-ride when switching between terrains. I can drop the pressure for gravel and then pump it back up when I hit the road. Super easy, super fast. And of course, it's a total lifesaver in case of a flat or any loss of air. No stress, no hand pumping. Just press the button and go. You can grab yours with 10% off using my code ZONE2SPEAK. Link and details are in the episode notes. Trust me, once you try it, you won't leave for a ride without it. Cyc Plus Smart Pump. Smart, simple, and ready for any adventure. Now, let's hear it for the episode. Welcome to Zone to Speak. Today, I'm thrilled to have Roanna Warren as my guest. She's the founder of Girls That Ride Bikes and the creator of The Wild Weekender, a gathering that brings women together through cycling, friendship, and shared adventures. Roanna's journey is one of shifting gears, from riding in mixed groups to asking who else wants to ride, to launching a movement built around exclusive, joy-driven cycling for women. She has built Girls That Ride Bikes from the ground up, organizing rides, festivals, and community while balancing life and purpose. In this episode, we will go back to how she started riding, how Girls That Ride Bikes and the Wild Weekender were born, what it's like organizing a women's cycling collective, and her vision for the future of women's riding culture. If you ever wondered how to turn a passion for bikes and community into meaningful action, you will want to hear this one. Let's roll. Roanna, welcome to Zone to Speak.
Hi.
Great to have you here. I know we got connected through Stolen Goats, and he knows that I'm putting together a women's event as well. So I'm super inspired by what you're doing and would like to hear more. In my case, is ultra cycling and bike packing, where a lot of events are like, we want more women on the start line. And I decided to do something in a much smaller scale, because there's a lot of large scale out there. And I thought, well, who's going to start riding 800 kilometers, So I decided just to put a weekend together of bike packing for women. So hopefully they feel empowered and accomplished and confident to do it on their own or maybe join a race. So yeah, I'm learning a lot. Putting this event together is going to be in December, but this is about you. So tell me, how did it all start for you? Not just your movement, but how did you start riding, and when did you feel like, I want more women riding together?
I was trying to think about this quite a lot, and I thought back to my childhood. I grew
Wow.
up one of 7 children, and my dad, he was always bringing back auction lots of bikes, where he would bring often 10 bikes back at a time, and they would be 3-wheeled bikes, tandems, adult bikes, and we'd all take turns to try and ride. We lived down a steep hill on a private drive, and spent most of my childhood riding up and down on all sorts of bikes with my brothers and sisters. I was thinking about how I first got into mountain biking specifically.
Wow.
And I met my partner when I was 18, and he introduced me into mountain biking and said, do you want to come with me and my friends? And at that point, I thought mountain biking just meant riding a bike off-road as opposed to riding it on-road. And he took me to an area which is called the Quantocks, and it was an downhill track where it had gap jumps over roads.
Wow.
And I said, no, this isn't for me. I didn't think this was mountain biking. What is this? But it was a good, very first start into the kind of, okay, that exists, and I didn't realize it did. And now I need to learn how to actually descend a hill, and where to put my body as I kind of traverse down the hill and not fall off. And it was a progression from there, shall we say. And I kind of got into the world of mountain bike parks, and we spent a long time kind of traveling around New Zealand and Australia, and we had mountain bikes with us, and we did lots of kind of like bikepacking adventures back in the day before
Cool.
bikepacking really was a thing, where we made our own racks out of
Mhm.
bits of metal and strapped on bags and set off into the kind of huts of New Zealand, which when I look back now, I think quite naive we were.
Sometimes that's the best way, when you don't have the full picture and you don't overthink anything and you just go and experience and do it.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think when we came out of one of the huts one morning, all our gears and all of our chains were just completely solid in ice. It was so cold.
Oh no.
It's,
Wow.
yeah, just understanding what you do at that point. But yeah, and making sure you had enough kit on you to be able to survive in the mountains, which when people say the weather is interchangeable, I realize what they mean after you've been to the mountains. But
Yeah.
when interchangeable weather when you're from the UK, it's not really the same thing.
Yeah. Little different. The mountain, very unpredictable as well, and it comes really quick.
Yeah, massively quick. So we set off one day and it was pure sunshine, really lovely day. And we thought we'd kind of done everything we could to prepare. And we were heading off into the mountains. And before long, it became a big kind of wind and rainstorm. And a lot of the tracks had been washed away. And it was during quite a lot of landslips. And we had to carry our bikes over rivers. And we got very cold and wet quite quickly. And that soon became a snowstorm, and we couldn't find a hut. And that was quite a touch and go moment where you think, okay, I realise now what it means by weather can change. But we did find the hut and we survived to tell the tale.
Good.
But
Yeah, I used to do alpine climbing, and yeah, I know how the weather can turn really quickly, and you always have to be on your toes. I remember, one time going up some mountain in the Alps, and this guy had actually, and I should have had, I didn't know, but a shovel, because sometimes you just need to find your own shelter and make your own shelter. It's quite intense. Yeah.
yeah.
But how did, from all this experience and adventure, the wild weekender, and the girls that ride bikes were born?
Yeah, so the Girls That Ride Bikes was really born after having children and discovering kind of, I was lone riding again, and I'd lost my riding partner who was at home with the children. And I started kind of going out and looking at Strava and finding new routes. And I was kind of looking at these kind of quam things where you kind of like wonder, can I get to the top, and trying to race segments. And I've quite commonly found myself up against a similar woman called Julie, who kept popping up. And so we'd kind of fight over these kind of Queen of the Mountains. And it was quite a lot of banter. It was quite good fun. And I said to her one day, we should just ride together, rather than try and steal each other's crowns. And it was good fun. And, it's the kind of rest is history, really. We're really good friends now. We ride a lot together. And it's just amazing, being able to kind of inspire each other, to push each other further, find new routes, new places to explore, and enjoying the company of riding with other people rather than on your own. And that's kind of where it started. And that started with a WhatsApp group where we had a few local people who like to ride bikes. And it kind of started as a women's kind of thing, to be honest, just because it was all about kind of bringing together of this kind of collective of people who potentially were riding on their own and wanted to ride with other people, but felt maybe that they didn't belong in a big cycling club where men maybe were going a bit faster and they didn't really feel like they could keep up. So actually it grew quite quickly, where people actually said, "Oh, this is exactly what I've been looking for. I really want to ride with like-minded people and
Yeah.
explore the area."
Yeah. Um, I have the same experience, and it's also, I mean, there's a lot of women that are very strong, stronger than a lot of men as well, but it's just less intimidating to go. For me, my experience, I feel much more welcome when I go into a women's group. And that's actually my experience in Sevilla as well. I try to look up a women's group, and they're like, "Oh, there's another writer that lives close to you, and now she's my buddy, and we'll be writing together." It makes a total difference. It's so much better to have company and have
Mm.
someone that motivates you, inspires you, and pushes you. Yeah. And how did that WhatsApp group turn into a movement of the girls that ride bikes? Like, were there any early challenges and early wins?
Um, so the girls that ride bikes naturally evolved from a WhatsApp group where local people said, "Can I add my friend? I've got this person who's just moved to the area, really would like to kind of be part of this." And so it's kind of grown and grown. And, at one point it got to about 40 people, and I was like, wow, we've got 40 local women. And now it's over 100. And it's kind of like these people exist in our local area and want to come and be
Wow.
involved. And that's really amazing, because I didn't think there was that many women cyclists in this area, or people wanting to kind of come and be involved. The Girls That Ride Bikes Well Weekender is something that I've had an idea for many years, and always thought I'd love this idea of bringing a collective together where we could kind of share that kind of experience and passion.
Mm,
My friend owns the piece of land down the road. And it's something I've spoken to her for many years and said, this is such a beautiful spot. I'd love to run an event here. And for the first time, I thought, what, I'm going to do it. And let's see if 40 people turn up. Let's see if 20 people turn up.
yeah.
And we sold out, and we had over 160 women turn up.
Wow. That's massive.
Yeah, it was incredible. And I remember ringing my friend to say, "We've sold 20 tickets. It means we can afford toilets. We can afford, and each thing that we sold, it meant that we could make the festival even better." So I started basic, thinking, right, if I can have a marquee tent, we can have some toilets. That's all we really need, because the riding around here is so amazing that actually, the spot itself is so beautiful. So you can swim in the river. It's located on an
Wow.
island, so it's called the island, the piece of land. So it's surrounded by
Oh,
water. It's got a mill at one end and
amazing.
a weir, like a really safe weir that you can walk into at the other. And anyway, so as it grew, I thought, we could have a wood-fired sauna overlooking the river's edge, and we can have live music, and the partnerships as well were so incredible. So being able to reach out to a local food vendor. I think you asked as well, one of the challenges is actually ringing people and saying, "So I'm thinking about hosting this event, but I'm not really sure how many people are going to come." And most food vendors, they just say, "Not really sure," because they don't know how much money they'll make. They don't know if it's worth their time.
Got it.
And this food vendor said, "It's fine. 40 people is absolutely fine. As long as you can get, minimum 40, that's absolutely like fine for what we can do. And we'll just scale from there." And so that was really lovely, having one person turn around and say yes, and then ringing Andy from Stolen Goat, and he had a lot of encouragement for what I was doing. And he said, we can do kit, we can do like apparel, we could have a van, we could have some games,
Wow.
we can have a stand, we can do all of these different things. He said, you can have as much or as little as you want without any commitment, or I could just help you promote it to my audience. And Velo Vixen and Solid Goat. And I just said yes to everything, please. Let's try and do it all. Let's try and design a kit, which was really good fun. So working with them to design a kit was really fun. And then seeing everyone at the festival wearing the kit, that was really good fun. And, doing the photography and just seeing how it could grow from like a small thing to a big thing. And that all just grew through conversations with people, by people believing in what we were doing and what we were trying to achieve, and actually going, I back this. Or I had a lady from Emily from Trail Bloom, who's a women's cycling apparel brand. She reached out to me and said, do you think I could have a stand at your event? And I was like, absolutely, yes, come along. It'd be great to have you there. And, you know, actually working with people in that industry who are actually almost approaching you to come along, which is really nice. I
Oh,
had a volunteer also who became a really integral part of the Girls That Ride Bikes, who just messaged me to say, wow, this looks like a really fun event. Can I help? Yes, you
cool.
can. Come and be involved in the team. And you just think it's really nice. And I think that's something that's really unique about women cycling, is that people want to get behind it and they want to help and they want to see it grow. And I think, yeah, that's been a really kind of pivotal thing that's helped the success of it, is that people believe in it and think that there should be a space for this, and it should be something that, you know, people want to help and kind of invest their time and help with growing.
Yeah, yeah, no, I'm seeing it now with my little event, you know. And it's such an amazing feeling to have all these people that I reach out to. Yes, we want to support. Yes, we want to support. And you know, we're doing this event only for 30 people because it's my first event. I'm doing partnership with Women's Bikepacker Portugal, and they only did also like short weekends with just like 8 to 10 women. So we're like, okay, let's do 30 people. So it's quite small, and we're having big brands getting behind us. And it's truly amazing to see that everyone actually is walking the talk.
Mm. Yeah, it's really, yeah. Our local, well, another person who was really pivotal was one of our local bike shops. He really wanted to get involved and got Giant involved. And he came along and they supported from a maintenance perspective. So they were maintaining, looking over everyone's bikes. And for the next year's festival, they want to come for and do a proper talk and kind of get everyone involved and like point checks on the bikes and kind of really kind of even teaching people like how they can kind of do general maintenance things themselves, which it's really lovely. And it's really nice that, you know, he spoke to Giant and Giant turned around and said, yes, we want to be involved in this kind of stuff. Tell us more and how we can support it, which is, it's really cool that there's brands out there that want to get involved and really support
Yeah.
women's cycling.
Yeah. Yeah. It's really good to see. And as you are building this collective, of course, there is a culture there. And what is the philosophy behind Girls That Ride Bikes? Like, what values do you hold most sacred? Is that inclusion, pace, accessibility, support? How do you make sure those values remain intact as the group grows?
I kind of read this question a little bit earlier, and I thought, you know, my main points on this is Girls That Ride Bikes is inclusive and confidence first.
Mm,
It's not elitist and it's not dropping people. You know, it's about social spins. It's about community, and you know, kind of making sure that everybody is involved at all levels. So, but also catering for that. So we had people come to the group who said, you know, I had a lady recently who said, I've never cycled more than 20 kilometers. Am I going to be okay to come to your rides? And I said, absolutely. Everybody starts somewhere. And
yeah.
you know, everyone can ride at different paces. And we will do rides that will be tailored around that. And that we kind of call them our party pace rides. So there are social rides, there are the rides that we try and encourage everyone to come along on. And then we will also try and do other rides where we can maybe go at a slightly faster pace and advertise it like that, so that those other ones, other people in different brackets might also feel like they get something different out of it. But I'm constantly trying to tailor how the rides are and how they're going to be, and trying to take feedback from people to say, you know, do you want to see more fast rides or do you want to see more, but making sure that there's a mix in there with everyone kind of catered for, really. And that's really the aim of it, is that it's all about inspiration. And I think since growing the Girls That Ride Bikes from our first days to where we are now and looking back, I think some of the biggest takeaways is things like, you know, entering events together, which has been really good fun. So from any ability, from the real beginner all the way through, you know, we entered a triathlon that was had super sprint. So it was And it was one loop of the swim. I think it was a 2.5K run, and I can't remember the exact distances, but they were very kind of achievable, and it meant that anybody could enter those. But we all started together, the super sprint and the sprint, and we all swam in the sea together. The sprint did 2 laps, and the super sprint did 1, and then we're all out on the bike course, and we did a slightly longer lap on the sprint to the super sprint, but we all saw each other and we cheered each other along, and we were kind of shouting and cheering each other all the way through. And there was a big crowd of us at the end, cheering people over the finish line. And I think that kind of community, and where you can kind of, do an event where actually it doesn't matter at what point you are, you can come and get involved and actually feel like you can be part of that, and you can either be the one at the top doing really well, or you can be the other one who's like just there to enjoy it and just to take part, which is absolutely like all of what the Girls That Ride Bikes exist for.
How cool. Yeah, I love that about having teammates cheering you on, or when you see somebody on the course. I used to do triathlons as well, so in triathlons it's easier to see somebody on the course on oh my god, what do you call it? Oh my god, I used to do triathlons, I'm forgetting now. Between when you're switching sports, transition. Thank you. When in transition, almost make me want to do a triathlon again. But I totally agree with you on the inclusion. And that's also our ethos for She Rides event, because it's really to get everyone in. Doesn't matter your pace, your fitness level. I mean, we wanted to create something that it is a challenge, but we also have shortcuts. I might even use the shortcut because I'm not in top shape. So everyone can participate, and we will all, start together and meet up at the finish point and start the next day together. And I think that's what it's all about.
Yeah.
Couldn't agree more. Yeah, it's creating that safe space where you are having fun, you are challenging yourself, but you're safe. You always have someone around you. Nobody's going to drop you or snub you or judge you or anything like that.
Yeah.
I'm just going to jump in here for a quick break from the conversation, because if you have been listening for a while, I only share brands that I actually use and love. One of these is Code Age. They make science-backed supplements that really support active lifestyles. I have been taking their creatine gummies for recovery and strength, and the women's multivitamin for energy and immune health, especially during big training weeks. They have got everything from hydration to collagen and endurance blends, all top quality. You can get 10% off with code ZONE2SPEAK at codeage.com, and you will be supporting the podcast while you are at it. All right, back to the episode. Yeah. How about logistics? I mean, running a weekend festival and these group rides involve tons of planning. How does the wild weekender work behind the scenes, choosing routes, managing skill levels, safety, supporting riders, the partnerships you're talking about with gear and food and mechanics? What goes into making a women's cycling festival feel accessible and safe?
It all goes back to community again. So really, it was all about the people. So I managed to find, within the Girls That Ride Bikes group, willing volunteers that we've kind of created this subcommittee, and some amazing people. One lady called Jo, who's actually run a lot of events, studied events, understands how they work. She's been instrumental in terms of kind of advising us on risk assessments, advising us on how to do things in a particular way. Being able to have different skill sets like that, different ride leaders, qualified guides, such as the New Forest Off-Road Club. We had Sue Barrett come on, and she came and we did some recce rides together, and she was really teaching me about how she would recce a route, and like all of the things that she puts into her risk assessment and how she does it, which really helped me in kind of understanding, what goes on in terms of risk assessments, and then the kind of logistics behind it, being able to have this group of people that we could have regular meetings together and kind of discuss, right, okay, so I've done these things, these are the things we're looking at next. And actually we would kind of divvy out tasks. So Megan was like, yeah, I'm gonna sort out the toilets, and I'm gonna sort out this bit, and someone else would say, I'm on this. And it was really nice because actually between us all, we could all really take responsibility for some actions, and then kind of come back together, and then we would talk about what we had done and what progress had been made. And it was actually really lovely, and part of another separate WhatsApp group, but it was kind of, like talking about all the things you'd done and all the successes you had had. It was quite fun. So it was like, oh, guess who I spoke to today? And guess what conversation we had? And like how it's
That's
kind of
motivational.
evolved.
Yeah.
So that was really good. And that just really built, and then like the brands and the partnerships, working with people like Andy from Stolen Go, the local bike shop, this great food vendor that is actually a Spanish family, and they brought paella, and they had sangria, and it was like really nice food. I just thought it'd just be really nice. I didn't want a burger and chips van. Like I wanted some wholesome, good food. I worked with a local lady who does amazing yoga, and people just loved her sessions. It's utilizing really local, nice, like good skills, good food. So we had Amy Strongman do the yoga. She was incredible. And then Elena, a lovely person who's part of the Girls That Ride Bikes, who also is a stand-up paddleboarding instructor. So she took out groups of people on the water, which was really good. So it's just really lovely.
This is way more than bikes.
Yeah. So it really evolved. So it was like I'd be out on a ride, I'd be like talking to Elena, and she's telling me about how she's an outdoor instructor and what she does. And I said, do you want to come and do some stand-up paddleboarding at the event? And she's like, yeah, okay, we could do that. And it's just, I just think all of this comes down to people. So people make the event, and people made the Girls That Ride Bikes Weekender. And it's not even just those people, it's all the people that came, and it was all of their stories and seeing what they did and how they found the experience. And one of the biggest takeaways I think I found was people said they came on their own, and they said they didn't feel that confident coming on their own, but actually once they came, it felt really welcoming, and they just said it was so nice that I had the confidence to do it, because actually I definitely do it again. And they said part of it being all women is that they felt that those barriers to the conversations and kind of opening up and coming on your own was a lot less than going to a festival where there may be already formed groups of partners or friends that are kind of a bit harder to break into. Yeah. And they were saying it was just really nice that everyone was kind of, so open and welcoming. And we really made a point as volunteers to make sure that we kind of looked out for anyone who'd seemed to be on their own at any point, and really kind of took them under and just got them involved in anything that was going on.
Amazing. Yeah. And 2 questions following up this. One is, if I'm not by you and I can't be on your regular Girls That Ride Bikes rides, can we join the Wild Weekender? How can we find you? How can, join both? Or can you just join the Wild Weekender? How does it work?
So I've got a website, and it's called, we've got a website, and it's called the Girls That Ride Bikes. .com, and on there I'm hoping to grow this to be even bigger, but at the moment there's the website, which is going to house kind of all the information, and then we've got this WhatsApp group which is becoming a community. So in the WhatsApp group we've got chats about maintenance and bike chat, we've got for sale things, we've got local group rides that are going out. So I'm trying to do one big ride a month, where we go to things like the New Forest, we go to different areas, we do one big ride a month. We try and do 2 evening rides a week, 2 evenings a week over the month. So all of that information is all on the WhatsApp chat. Okay. And then what I'm trying to do now, which is really exciting, is I've got people approaching me to say, I'd actually really like to have a Girls That Ride Bikes in my area. And so, for example, recently I've been talking to a friend of mine who came from the Girls That Ride Bikes, ride out with us in the New Forest, and she's in Bristol and saying, you know, I want to do something over here. And she actually went and spoke to their local bike shop, and they said, you know, we can use the car park for free. You can have free coffee for your riders.
Wow.
And really wanting to back it. So, you know, I'm going to be now looking at doing subgroups. So actually working with, you know, making sure that they kind of ride leader trained under the Girls That Ride Bikes umbrella, and being able to support subgroups by actually helping them with posters that they can put into the local bike shops. I can advertise it on Instagram. And then on our website, we can talk about these new locations that are coming. So we are going to be looking at a Bristol, on the edge of Bristol group. And then we are looking at doing a Bournemouth group. So two kind of quite big kind of cities around the southwest, but actually then looking to maybe expand. So say someone was in Manchester and they said, oh, this is what I really want, but it's nowhere near me. Well, we can have a chat and we can actually talk about, why don't we start a Girls That Ride Bikes in Manchester, and I can support you with posters and the logistics behind it. And I just want to be able to have lots of subgroups within the chat that we can actually say, you know, there's all these different rides going out all over the country.
Wow.
And we're actually reaching so many more people. And then why not once a year come to the Girls That Ride Bikes Weekender? Anyone can come to the Weekender. You know, you can be in Spain or Australia and you can come. It's just come and get involved. And the ethos behind being a Girls That Ride Bikes is that anyone who rides bike is a Girls That Ride Bikes. You know, it's not, we aren't, you know, we are very inclusive, and we want to make sure that everyone feels welcome. And it's really good that people feel that they can kind of contact us and get involved. And we would like to do some more things further as well, which is kind of like multi-day bike packing. Potentially we could look at doing something in Cornwall or in areas where we haven't seen rides go out before. So we were saying that the Purbeck Ridgeway around us in Dorset is so beautiful. We'd like to do multi-day trips along there. And we'd like to probably offer some kind of flash packing idea behind hotels and bikes, where you actually can ride your bikes to hotels and you don't have to carry any stuff, and you don't have to want to camp out, and you can actually have the kind of the glamping experience without it being, you know, you can have a shower at the end of the day without sleeping out under a tent.
Yeah,
But
and
we
it's
also,
expensive too to invest on that stuff, you know. So it's nice to start with hotels and then, okay, I love this, I want to buy the equipment. Yeah.
yeah. And
Yeah.
it covers all bases, doesn't it? Is that the person who doesn't want to invest in all the stuff but wants to come on a multi-day trip, or we can do trips where we can do that, and that's also fine. And we'd like to invest from the Girls That Ride Bikes into kit where we can actually rent kit out, so you don't have to buy your kit. You can rent our kit and you can use that to then come on a trip,
Oh,
and
that's
that's absolutely
great.
fine as well.
Really, really great stuff. My second follow-up question was about, you know, you're talking about personal transformations. I don't know if there's any story of someone who came to Girls That Ride Bikes or the Weekender and had a shift in confidence, in community identity, or just the joy of riding a bike. I don't know if there's any story top of mind that you can share.
Yeah, I was thinking about one person who came to the Girls That Ride Bikes right in the early days. And, you know, there was quite a lot going on with her at home, and she just wanted to kind of come and be part of it, but actually turned up on a bike that was really heavy, really old. She didn't really feel like she belonged, but actually found so much confidence coming out with us. She actually changed her bike and was like, wow, this is so much easier riding a slightly lighter bike. And then, you know, her confidence built. She said to me, you know, I found that this space where actually when things are all a bit crazy in my other life, that I can actually zone out and kind of come and be part of this, and be present in something else for a bit. And she said that at that time was so good for her. And then she's gone on to doing some incredible things. So she's come and did triathlons, and she's
Wow.
we did Chase the Sun together. So we cycled from one side of we did north and south 2 years subsequent. So we cycled 205 miles from Newcastle to Scotland the year before last, and then this year we cycled from across the middle of the country, quite low down, and she was part of that, and it was so incredible to see her progression in what she did, and be able to see that confidence built, and but she still doesn't think she's that great a rider, and I'm always just like, you're amazing, like and what she's done and what she's achieved is so incredible, and it's amazing to see where she started and where she is now. She's an integral part of the Girls That Ride Bikes, and she's part of the committee, and and she's so great, and I really want her to come and be part of all these challenges that we sign up to. She's one of the first people I think of, but it's just nice to see someone start from the very beginning and really find confidence and build within the group, and actually be doing so well off, and be so happy and enjoy it so much.
Yeah, that's really, really, really cool. Yeah, being able to see those type of transformations in people, and then having this person enjoy now bike riding and being a big part of the community. Really cool.
Yeah, and it's just so nice to do that with multiple people, and if that can happen all over the country in subgroups, and people can find the love of cycling and the enjoyment of it, and it's so good for so many different reasons, for mental health and for exercise and for getting outside, and a bike is an avenue for so many different reasons, isn't it? A conversation starter.
Yeah, I was gonna say, you're probably touching and changing a lot of lives just to having that introduction and a safe space for women to start or to go back to it.
Yeah, it's really incredible, and I think being able to do that through a medium of cycling is is really important, especially with today's society of being able to we just get stuck indoors staring at screens, and just to be able to be back out with nature and kind of connecting with people, but also having the confidence of people around you. So we also did our first bikepacking trip this year, where we had a group of women who'd never bikepacked before, and we went and we camped out overnight, and it was the experience of kind of setting up tents, sleeping out overnight, carrying your stuff, how that felt, like all of those things, and then seeing those people then go on to do more. So one of the girls who came on that went and she did her own first solo bikepacking trip, and she went across the South Downs, and she had messaged me being like, I'm out here, oh my God, I'm scared. This is so good, and she found confidence to do that, which is really lovely.
Yeah, absolutely. I sometimes I do also get some messages on Instagram like, oh, I'm doing this, you inspired me, even if it's just a workout, it doesn't even have to be anything huge, and it's just so touching that you are making a difference. Yeah. But women's presence in cycling is growing and still face barriers. In your view, what is still holding women back from joining cycling or bikepacking? How does Girls That Ride Bikes work to dismantle those barriers, and what does the representation mean in this space?
Yeah, I think that people are put off, and I can see exactly why. I mean, I joined my local cycling group. It's a local bike shop ride, and it was all men, and they all went off very fast, and they said that they were the medium group. And I just thought, I could barely keep up with the medium speed, and I just thought, wow, if anybody was trying to come into cycling and that was their experience, you could see why they might think, I can't do this, I'm not good enough, I'm not fast enough, I haven't got the ability to keep up with people like that. And actually, by trying to break that down and actually say, we ride at the pace of the slowest rider, and we stop and we enjoy the view, we take photos, we eat nice food, and we have a good time. We don't all have our heads down trying to climb at a ridiculous rate and kind of disappear into the distance.
Yeah.
We're all about, the connections of the people and the stories. I love part of when I go out on rides, just switching between people and just hearing about, oh,
Yeah.
who are you? And like, where are you
Uh-huh.
from? And what do you do for a job? And like,
Yeah.
tell me a bit about your background. And that's part of the ride. Like, it's not to me about going out and cycling. It's about meeting people and chatting and having fun
Yeah.
along the way. And sometimes I forget I'm even cycling. You kind of just, that's just almost the medium of what you're doing, but actually it's much more than that. And it's about it's about people, and it's about breaking down barriers. And I want people to come along and think that they are very much welcome and part of the Girls That Ride Bikes, and that they can come and join in on rides and not feel like they're gonna not be good enough or too old, or that I Sue from the New Forest Off-Road Club, she does a great job of talking about name is just a number, and I just think it's so right. I think
Yeah.
that anybody can do anything, and actually we just need to inspire and encourage them to do that. And yeah, it's, to me, it's about just trying to get out and have shared experiences with people. And sometimes I even think, like, people say, why girls? Like, why not guys? Why can't guys come along? And I would like to get to a point where we could have some group rides where guys can come along, and actually everyone's welcome. But the idea behind the women's thing is that we have a space where it's all about being able to come and not feel it's creating a space that feels accessible and easy. And so the very kind of fundamental of it is women, because it's trying to create that space. But maybe eventually we will have events where we can have men as well. And like, it's not about that all men race off, because there's a lot of nice men that just want to come and have a nice time too. And
Yeah.
actually I'd like them to be involved as well. And actually, if we can be women led and we can have the right ethos, then actually it doesn't matter who comes, because it doesn't need to be gendered. And maybe genderizing cycling is not the right way to go. But for the first point, I've just tried to be Girls That Ride Bikes because I want to create that inclusive space. But who knows what the future holds? And, I would like to think that we could have multi-events where everyone can be involved.
Couldn't agree more. And I also, I don't know if struggle is the right word, but I also struggle with that when I created She Rides, because I want it to be a space for women. But I wouldn't mind, like, some people have a partner, a male partner, and they want the partner to come. And I want to be inclusive for all. But we also need to create this space for women. So it's not that easy to find that balance. I think in the future, I also like to have something that, okay, you can bring your partner. It is for women, but you can bring your partner. There are a lot of great guys out there, but I have had some of the same experience as you did. Like, I even one time I was like, oh, I'm not feeling it today, I'm just going to join this low ride. And it was so fast, and I was like, did I join the right group? Wasn't this low ride? And they're like, oh yeah, sorry, we got carried away. And I'm like, well, you don't feel good to say, oh, I don't, that's not cool. But it isn't cool, because I came for a chatty ride and was just trying so hard not to get dropped.
Yeah.
And you don't want that. Yeah. But who knows what the future brings, and which takes me to my next question, which is the future vision and growth, which you already said a little bit about, probably creating different representation in other cities in the UK. Successful communities, I think those projects are successful because they have leaders like you that dream really big. um, so what's next for Girls That Ride Bikes and the Wild Weekender? Do you see, well, you already said the expansions, more events, partnerships. What are your big dreams for this movement?
Yeah, so we have another festival happening next year, which
Ooh.
will be the 31st of July to the 2nd of August, in the same location, same setup. So wood-fired sauna, stand-up paddleboarding,
Amazing.
ride-outs. we're only going to make it better. Like, we've taken on the advice. Like, I really tried to ask people for all their advice that they could give back, and the feedback we had was phenomenal. But there are things that we could do better, which is always good. So I think we're going to just have more organized rides. We're going to have more like clear signage and working out like what paces, and like really work on kind of group structures. So there's going to be some really good improvements for next year. Which will be really beneficial to those that have kind of said, these are the points I'd like to make, and I've listened and I've made them. And one thing we didn't have this year, which was a bit crazy, was showers, because I wasn't sure that we'd be able to sell enough tickets to afford showers, which was a little bit crazy. And then by the time it kind of came round, I thought, actually, let's just do a wood-fired sauna. It's so much funner than a shower anyway. But this year we're going to have showers and saunas, which will be really exciting. So yeah, I've already booked the showers and the sauna for next year. We would like to do some more trips. So what that looks like now, I'm not 100% sure, but keep an eye out on the website. We will be doing some more trips. We'd like to do some multi-day trips, kind of adventures, whether that's in the UK or further abroad in the future. Let's see where that leads. So more group rides, and hopefully this community is going to grow. I'd like to see it have a map on the website one day, and you can see all the spots where you can actually join in a group ride. And it might be that you're on holiday somewhere and actually go, oh, they've actually got a group ride going out on Thursday. I'm going to join that Girls That Ride Bikes group this week. I'd really like to get to a point where you can see that benefit and you can really reach those people, and then each year we kind of come together for a big annual celebration, and all those ride leaders and all those people can come together and actually just share the love of riding bikes and share stories. The other thing that I didn't really mention was some of the stories we had. We had a lady called Katie who cycled around, circumnavigated the whole of the UK. And she was doing that for mental health and awareness after losing her father by suicide. And she was opening up conversations with people and riding with people, swimming in the sea and cycling. And she came and did a talk all about her adventure and what she did and why she did it. And there was also another lady, an incredible lady, who circumnavigated the UK for a world record attempt, and she actually beat the man's record, which was quite incredible. And holds the fastest circumnavigation, Molly Weaver.
I know Molly. Okay.
Yeah. So we did a Q&A with the two of them about their experience, and it was really cool because you kind of asked Molly, like, how many days did you do it in? And Katie, how many days? And like, it was a little bit silly. And, we were kind of talking about like, and how much support did you have? And how much support did you have? And it was like, their experiences and how different they were, where Katie was kind of route plotting herself and not knowing where she was sleeping day by day, kind of, trying to meet people and have these connections and talk to them and, build those stories. And whereas Molly was doing it,
for the record,
as a race, and having all these things prepared for her, but in so much a harder way, obviously, being in that she wasn't getting much sleep and having to do day after day after day and all sorts of weather conditions. And it was really amazing, like listening to their stories. So, just having some incredible speakers at the event as well, which was really good, and looking to do more of that next year, and working with kind of just incredible people to talk about what they've done. And it's not even sometimes having to be the crazy, amazing adventures. It's the everyday person that's gone off and done an incredible journey. We've got one of the Girls That Ride Bikes members from the committee and the team is currently cycling around South America at the moment, and quite in awe of her day-by-day adventures and what she's up to. So keeping an eye on her and what she's doing is quite incredible. So I'd quite like her to come and tell us all about what her adventure. And then they're going on across to New Zealand to do a race in January, where they're racing the entire South Island. Yeah, so that's going to be a really interesting story to hear about how she got on there. We've also got 8 women at the moment signed up to the Lost Dot.
Okay, yeah. They're doing, I think, yeah, the Camino, the Camino.
Yeah, and down through Portugal. So that's going to be really cool
Yeah,
to be able to. And they're all girls that ride bikes members, myself included,
cool,
and it's going to be a
cool.
really cool. I don't know. It's nice to be able to even talk about stories like that of people entering things as a group or individually or doing things, and what that story was like and how they found that experience.
Yeah, and I agree with you. It's not just about big names and big stories because there are so many. I mean, I don't want to say regular people because you're extraordinary, like riding around South America, for example. And I think all those talks are so inspiring. That's why my podcast, I want to talk to anyone and everyone because everybody has a story to tell and can inspire so many other people and motivate and touch other people. So I think
Yeah,
it's really, really cool. Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. Well, Roanna, thank you so much for joining me. What an inspiring conversation. Your work with Girls That Ride Bikes and the Wild Weakener is such a powerful reminder that community doesn't have to be complicated. It just takes that one person like you saying, let's ride together and get everything started and triggered and look at where you are now. It's incredible.
Oh, thank you. Oh, yeah. I'd be keen to chat to you at some point about she rides and what you've been doing. I think more of a conversation for another time, maybe. But it'd be really interesting to know about your trip in Spain. It sounds really interesting.
Yeah, I would love to talk to you more and learn a lot. I know I have a lot to learn from you.
Thank you. I don't know. I think it's yeah. Well, I think we all learn from each other, don't we? I've
Yeah,
learned a
that's
lot from
true.
the people around me, which is it's been really really great.
Yeah. I'm glad I'm doing my first event with the girls from Women's Bike Pack in Portugal because even with the three of us, it's so much work just for a 2 day
Mm.
event, and I'm learning a lot from them, and it's been a great learning, and I can't wait to have the event and get to meet everyone that signed up for it.
Yeah. Oh, it's really nice. It's nice that it's one thing I really enjoyed is just seeing the names kind of come in as each ticket sells, and you think, oh, that's interesting. It'd be
Yeah,
nice to meet those people as it
yeah,
comes through. It's,
yeah.
yeah,
Really cool. Well, let's keep in touch.
yeah, definitely. All right. Thank
Thank
you very
you.
much.
And that's all for today's episode. I want to thank the listeners for tuning in. Your support means everything. If you enjoyed this episode, please consider following, leaving a review, and sharing it with your friends.